But I remember at one point, I just saw that someone had changed my main photo that was attached to the photo that goes with it. Someone had changed the photo. I was like, what is this? And then the photo that it was changed to was a photo that was currently on my Instagram at that time. And it was one that he had specifically told me is really cute and he loves it and what a good picture. I was all kinds of uncomfortable and felt very intruded on and violated and just like, what are you doing? I was very upset. I knew it was him. I knew it. But like, why would he do that? That made me feel very awkward and I did not like it at all. Excuse me? I didn't even give him my password or anything. So I don't know how in the world he did that. I was pretty much done with the friendship after that.
Hey! Listen!
What's up, babes? Welcome back to Lyssa and Lyssa. I'm your host, Lyssa. This is a story time. Wow! This right here, this is wild. This is from 1999, guys. 1999. I know it's backwards, but 1999. Okay, you know what this is? This is my actual journal from when I was like 12 or 13 years old. And I'm so grateful to have it. And I owe it all to a friend of mine that I had when I was in middle school, when I first moved here to this area, when I was 11 years old. Do you have a journal that from your childhood or from the past that you keep? Let me know in the comments, because I couldn't have asked for a cooler gift. So stay tuned to the end of this video, because at the end, I'm going to read one of my many, one of my many authentic lists from my authentic journal when I was 12 years old. And it's entertaining. I'm not going to lie. It's entertaining. I would stick around. But first, let's get into story time. I want to remind you that if you have not subscribed to my channel, I am not actually sure why you would ever not be at this point. I'm just kidding. Go ahead and subscribe, please. Hit the subscribe button, and I will be able to continue bringing you content. You know the spiel. And let's get into this video. This is a story time regarding a time when I think I was on the other end of people pleasing, and I got to see how it can feel not so altruistic and not so benevolent from the other side at times. Without further ado, you know what you need. You need slippers, you need a cozy blanket, you need your best snacks, you need everything. So hurry, we're gonna get started. I'm gonna say the story. I'm gonna start telling the story. Let's go. Let's get into it.
Let's do it!
Sometimes there's a dynamic with people pleasers where it begins to feel like a little trick and like a little switcheroo, and like I was just trying to get this from you, and now you have to do it, and I'm guilt tripping you into doing it because I was so nice to you.
Oh dear!
I know for me, another thing that really helped me gain more perspective on the insight of like how it can be harmful in the other direction was experiencing a time where I had a friendship with someone who was a little more people-pleasing than I.
What?
Which was wild. It was wild, okay? That situation really opened my eyes to how this can feel on the other end. Now, granted, there were other mistakes made here on that end, but also even with that, I could understand from a reflection space how that could have been unknown to that person and how they likely had the best of intentions. I could see it, but I also could validate myself in what I was feeling naturally being on the receiving end of that. And what I was feeling was pressured. What I was feeling was, you're not hearing my no, and you're continuing to do things I said I don't need you to do, and then you're getting rude with me and doing weird, creepy things under the notion that you are owed something. And that made me feel very uncomfortable. That's how people-pleasing can harm other people. That right there, that cycle. So I think that more so happens in cases where it's a friendship where one person maybe wanted more than that. but the other person has made it clear that they do not. I understood it from a perspective of they shouldn't be doing that much for me. We are just friends. So I had this friend that I was completely platonic feeling towards, and this was a long time ago. I would hang out with them sometimes, from time to time. They were just a really laid back, funny, cool person to be around. I had no attraction to them. Now, I will tell you that due to my own experiences in life, I am of the belief somewhat that people who are typically attracted to each other's genders cannot often be in a platonic relationship, strictly, unless both are specifically not attracted to each other. Sorry, I just never seen it. Never seen it. However, as with most things, I remain very open to being shown that that is incorrect. Have had random people online in discussions, especially on Reddit, say that that very much is not correct. That they have platonic friends that they don't want to sleep with, but that they find very attractive, but that doesn't mean that they want to go jump in bed with them because they know them on a friendship level and they don't want that with them because they're in a relationship and they think they're beautiful. And also, I call BS because I don't, it's hard for me to believe because I think that I've had some really horrific experiences with men in my life, and I'm working on removing my self-limiting beliefs and my other beliefs surrounding men and relationships and things like that. So I love you, men. Men, I love you. I'm so sorry about my beliefs that won't go away. I'm trying to make them go away. I promise. And I'm working hard. But I've had some experiences that just lead me to have a lot of beliefs about men that tell me that's, if they're attracted to you, then they want to sleep with you and they're not your real friend. And many men may agree with me. I don't know. But there's some men that have argued against that and said that that's really downplaying men and that they're definitely capable of that. I don't think you can very well be a quality friend to someone that you actively want to sleep with or that you would enjoy sleeping with and not be sleeping with them. I think men and women can be friends in a relationship. I think they should be best friends. But also they're satisfying that urge to sleep with each other. So if you're not, I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. Typically, I am across the board very against blanket statements. So upon self-reflection and self-examination, which I heavily do upon myself as I promote doing it through my community and platform, I do it very personally. I do it in my own practice. I hold myself accountable to that. So part of that is recognizing that I have a belief that fits that description and recognizing that mine doesn't get an exception. And I heavily work on that belief constantly. So I'm just still a work in progress on that. And I know that it is troublesome and it is problematic because it's very close to being a blanket statement. And I know that it can be hindering my ability to be an open, empathetic person and hindering my relationships. So I work on it constantly. Okay? Please forgive me. I have flaws. And I believe that the essential first step to repairing and resolving these beliefs is admitting that they're in there and that they're programmed there. So here I am doing that, practicing what I preach, okay? This person, I was not attracted to him at all. No offense. That wasn't there at all. Not even a little bit. I had never made this person believe that I was. I had never touched this person, kissed this person, done anything whatsoever romantic with this person at all. Completely friends. I would tell about my relationships I'd had, and people I was dating. I talked openly like they were my complete friend. Okay? I was young and a little naive, and this person would randomly do really, I would say, extreme acts of giving towards me. And I wasn't asking for these things. They would just do them. And at first, it didn't make me uncomfortable because I thought he liked me or wanted more from me. It made me uncomfortable because I was like,
I hope you don't think that you have to do that. I was going to come hang out with you anyway.
I got that sense, that feeling of they were trying to get me to hang out with them. And the crazy part is, I didn't know they were going to give me this thing that they gave me, this gift that they bought me, whatever. And I was already planning to hang out with them when they asked me, because I was down and that I was friends with them. But coming from being a people pleaser myself and knowing how that can be sometimes, you don't believe that people just are going to like you. I kind of like got the vibe. And I understood it. And so I just let him know. I just said,
You don't need to buy things for me. You don't need to do nice things for me. You don't need to worry about that because I'm your friend. Genuinely, I'm your friend. Okay?
And he said,
Okay.
but then he would follow it up with,
I just like to do that for people. I don't mind. I can. And I just enjoy doing this for people, for my friends.
and I was like, So that was the first time I felt a little bit uncomfortable and also unheard. Like a little voice inside my head was going,
Dude, I just told you I don't want you to do this. I just told you don't do that for me. I don't need it. We can just be friends like normal. And you don't need to like text me 4 times a day to find out what my favorite this, what my favorite that, what my favorite this is. So that you can have all of those things lined up and ready to give to me the next time you see me. Please stop.
So I said it really nonchalantly the first few times. And he kept doing it. So then I started thinking,
Okay, there's something off here.
and he had made a few other little comments at times that I thought,
Have I been clear? Maybe I haven't been clear that I don't see this going anywhere past friendship. Maybe I'm leading him on without knowing it.
so I didn't want to be that type of person. So I was like,
The gifts have to stop. All this extra doing things for me all the time and paying for things, that needs to stop.
so I gotta make sure he knows that we're just friends and that's all he'll ever be to me. Sorry. And I really hated it. I hated having to do this, but I did it because it wasn't right if I hadn't communicated that. And I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I didn't want to be a rude person. And I didn't want somebody to feel used because I definitely didn't need any of that. So the next time I saw him, when we were hanging out, I was like,
Okay, I gotta say it. I gotta say it. I gotta say it. Jesus.
it was terrible. So I told him, I was like,
I don't want to hurt your feelings at all, but I really care about you as a friend, so I just really I want to make sure that you know this because I don't feel right if you don't know this. And I care. I love hanging out with you. You're cool peeps. I don't want to hurt you. And I would never want to be in any way, shape, or form leading you on to believe something and then hurting you on accident. So I just want you to know that all I feel for you is a friendship. I think you're a great person. There's just platonic feelings here, and there's just no romantic attraction here. But I totally like you as a friend. And I just want to make sure that you know that because I don't know if you do, since there's a lot of gifts that still keep happening, and I don't know why you think that you need to do that, because you don't.
and he said,
Oh, yeah, I know. I know.
and I was like,
Okay, you know?
and he was like,
Yeah. It's fine. I know that. It's fine. It's okay.
and he just kind of brushed past it. And then he said something like, he said something to the effect of sometimes I grow on people or something like that. And I was just like,
Wait. Sir. No. You're not gonna grow on me. I'm trying to be really clear.
and I made sure I said it a few times. Never will it happen. And I feel like at some, I don't know, I don't remember how the end of that conversation went. But it's like he got it, but he didn't. Maybe. And he absolutely didn't, because he continued. But like just more sneaky ways of doing things for me. But then trying to get away with it. And eventually, because I'm so bad at saying no, and I feel so pressured by things like that, and it really worked well on me. It did pressure me into doing things with him. It did pressure me into hanging out with him a lot more than I probably would have. It did pressure me into talking to him a lot more than I probably would have. And it did make me feel, eventually, even though I said,
Don't do this. I don't want that.
even though I said all of that, I still, because of him doing that stuff, and he would say like,
Oh, I have this extra ticket.
but really he bought it, you know? And like, we would go to somewhere, and then he would have it like all planned out, like it was like a date from the start. And I'm just like,
They had an extra ticket, my friend.
And it was just wild. He bought me this outrageous gift that he said was extra from his job. And he was like maybe setting it up for me or something. I don't remember how it happened. But I remember at one point, I just saw that someone had changed my main photo that was attached to the photo that goes with it. Someone had changed the photo. I was like,
What is this?
and then the photo that it was changed to was a photo that was currently on my Instagram at that time. And it was one that he had specifically told me is really cute and he loves it and what a good picture. I was all kinds of uncomfortable and felt very intruded on and violated and just like, what are you doing? I was very upset. I knew it was him. I knew it. But like, why would he do that? So that made me feel very awkward and I did not like it at all. It was that's what it was. And he said it was just extra. And that he was giving to me. And so he had it set up for me or something. So I was like, okay, then one could presume that maybe he thought it would be helpful and then logged into my like something like that. I don't know. But like, excuse me? I didn't even give him my password or anything. So I don't know how in the world he did that. So it was wild. And my birthday was coming up. And I remember I wasn't going to do anything really for my birthday, I think. And he offered something. He said he had some type of, I don't remember how he presented it to me, but he was going to pay for me for my birthday gift. And I was a little wary about it, but I was like,
Okay, it's a birthday.
when it's reasonable, you know, like if I would do this for one of my friends, a reasonable, normal time, then okay, cool, we're friends. It's just when it's out of nowhere, it's really excessive. That's when it was making me feel uncomfortable. But it was my birthday, so I was like, okay, that seems pretty standard, normal, I guess. Like, and I was trying to believe him that he didn't hack into my account and whatever. So I agreed. A lot of my other friends were going to come to the dinner too. It was going to be a dinner with a few of my other friends, my family, everybody. And this was the night when all hell broke loose and the friendship ended. Because here's when the people-pleasing ulterior motive of gaining something in return breaks through in these types of situations. Because it started becoming quite apparent throughout the night at the dinner that he felt very entitled to being near me, to sitting by me, to being paid attention to having priority to me, all kinds of things. To having my focus, my attention, everything. Because he had paid for my dinner.
I mean, if I'm paying for your dinner, I at least get to sit by you.
He said those words. And I was just like, oh no. So halfway through the dinner, I was already deciding that I was probably going to pay him back for this dinner and end the friendship. I didn't want to obviously do it in front of all these people. So I just played nice and got through it. And I was feeling very weirded out and I knew that this friendship needed to end. So afterwards, I had plans to go out for the night with my friends. Okay, out and about, downtown, whatever. And I wasn't feeling happy with that person. And I did not want him to come because he was getting all types of cringe on me. And I had already told him. So I was actually quite pissed at this point, and I wanted him to not to be around me. I did not invite him, and I did not want him to come. I didn't say anything. I didn't want to lie to him, but I was prepared to conceal the fact that I was going out if need be. I actually ended up not going because he ended up just making me completely not want to deal with anything after this. That's what it was. Okay, so I didn't know if I was going to go out or not, but I definitely did not want him to come. So when he asked me, I just told the truth that I wasn't sure, but I am getting tired and I don't know. I'm going to go home first, and then I'm going to talk with my friends, and we're going to decide if we're going to go out or not. I did not say I would call him and let him know. And I did not invite him. But he continued to press. And he was
It's like, well, I'd really like to go out. And
I was just like,
Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna go out, so I just need to go home right now.
and then he was basically getting frustrated that I wouldn't say.
Okay, you can come out with us if I go out, and I'll let you know.
I wouldn't say that. You know why I wouldn't say that? Because I was not going to do that. I was not going to let him know, and he wasn't invited. he was growing more and more frustrated with not being able to coax me into saying that. And so I just was tired of it. Once I finally got him to drop me off, I sent him a message that I felt like he was really infringing on my boundaries and that I had told him lots of times, and I really didn't appreciate being guilted and the way that it was going, and that I feel he may have other motivations here in this friendship than what I have, and that I think that the friendship should definitely stop at this time. But that he's a great person and I wish him the best. And he was very upset. I can't remember what he said that night, or if I never said this until the morning, I'm not really sure. But the next morning, he insisted on coming back to my house, and I said,
I'd really like it if you don't. I've already said what I've said, and this is too much. I need you to stop. Because you're not listening to me, and you're making me feel very uncomfortable.
and then he said,
Well, I need to talk to you, and it's not right for you to do this to me on the phone, and I need to see you, and I need to talk to you about this.
and I was just like, I went to my mom and I just started sobbing my eyes out because all of the pressure and the discomfort and all of the guilt tripping and all of the just terrible feelings I had been made to feel from having to endure this friendship and not knowing how to make sure I was being just getting my boundaries walked all over, and then being made to feel like I was taking advantage of someone when I made it clear I didn't want to take advantage of someone, and then him just continuing to do something I said I didn't like. It just felt so violating. And I know what violating feels like. It doesn't here. Let me just make in case anyone doesn't know this. Just because you think it's a nice thing, this is where I think the people pleasing, the whole bottom line of it is, for how it affects other people in a negative way. I still don't think this applies very well in romantic relationships, but in any other situation, just because you think something that you're giving to someone and doing for someone is helpful to them and nice and kind, and that it's something anybody would want and it's a good thing, people are individuals that are in charge of themselves and their lives and what they want and need. And if someone directly tells you, no, don't do that for me, I don't want that, that makes me uncomfortable, it is not for you to decide that it's a good thing and that anyone would want that and anyone would be happy to have that, and it's not that bad because it's a nice thing. No, you are violating someone who said no to you. Okay? And that was evident in my reaction to it. I was thoroughly in a full-blown anxiety attack and just in sobbing tears because of all that pressure that friendship had caused on me. Someone I know tried to suggest,
Well, at least he's so nice to you, and he's doing nice things for you. What could be so bad about that?
and I said,
Because I don't want those things, and I said, don't do it. And he kept doing it. What do you mean?
like, the anxious and avoidant. I never understood what was so bad about the anxious.
What could be so bad about that?
What is so bad about when you're in a relationship wanting to be close to the person you're in a relationship with? I'm sorry. I love you.
Well, at least he's so nice to you, and he's doing nice things for you.
Okay. That doesn't actually sound like a bad thing. I recognize the very different circumstances here. But are we really going to split hairs and decide where we draw the line about when it's okay to do something to gain a certain outcome for yourself and when it's not okay? And I think if you just look at it that way, it can help you to understand a little bit better why this behavior is just not a good one for anyone. So I think that's where people pleasing gets confused. I think people pleasers just assume that
Everyone would like to be treated this way. Everyone likes these things. Everyone likes this attention. Everyone likes to be validated. Everyone likes to have their opinion agreed with. Everyone likes to have these random acts of kindness done for them and these excessive gifts bought for them. Everyone likes that.
some people don't. And it makes some people feel like you're trying to make them owe you something. And like, in a way you are, if you're people pleasing. So that's the problem. Yeah. So he came over. Anyway. And I talked to him for a few minutes. And then I was very blunt. And I said,
You acted like kind of a jerk on my birthday, and you were being very entitled, and I feel like you are just trying to kind of maneuver your way into being in a relationship with me, and I've already told you that I don't feel that way.
I don't remember what he said. He asked me, like,
well, how do I make you feel uncomfortable?
I said,
Maybe because when you text me every single day and 20,000 times a day, even when I'm not responding, and then you just keep doing it. And then maybe when you specifically go lurk at who my friends are, and then you try to make friends with them, and then you try to like get into their activities, and then you're just trying like every way to find ways to just get closer to me in every avenue of my life.
he literally started attending my church.
Oh my God.
He traveled 45 minutes every day to go to my church. I mean, on Sundays, to go to my church. And then would like maneuver his way to like talking to my parents and then like try to come over to our house. And I was like,
Sir!
just came down to like, it had to be said. And
I was like, just cut the crap. Okay, I know what you're doing. And I don't like it. And I'm sorry the friendship's over.
And he got mad at some point in the conversation and he stormed out. He drove really fast and loud away from my house. And I blocked him. And I never went back to church. And I told my parents, I don't want to see him ever again, please. Don't even ask me to. And that was it. And I've never talked to him again. So that was my experience with a people pleaser. Because I genuinely think that's what he was. And I do believe he thought, because of the nature of my kindness and the genuine way I listen to people and give them my full attention when they're talking, I didn't treat him badly because like I wasn't physically attracted to him. I didn't just blow him off. So I guess that made him think that I had maybe some different feelings for him that could have maybe grown over time. And that's fine. But once I told him to please stop and that makes me uncomfortable and he didn't, that's where it got really uncomfortable and really not okay. So all of that to say, that experience kind of, I guess, somewhat made me think of how I could relate to what people pleasing might feel like on the other side. This right here, this is wild. This is from 1999, guys. 1999. I know it's backwards, but 1999. Okay, so you know what this is? This is my actual journal from when I was like 12 or 13 years old. And I'm so grateful to have it. And I owe it all to a friend of mine that I had when I was in middle school, when I first moved here to this area, when I was 11 years old. And I made a few friends, and she was one of the first friends that I made. And she was my best friend all throughout middle school. She was just always there for me. We were together. We were inseparable. And I didn't even remember that I had this. It was only like a couple of years ago, actually. She reached out to me and she said, I wanted to tell you that we had been going through my parents' old house where she used to live, which is like down the street from my parents' house. And she said, I found your journal. And I really want you to have it. It's such an interesting travel back in time because this is an age I sort of remember. I sort of remember being 12 and 13. Like I have some memories, I guess, but not that well. It's just so interesting to see my own thoughts and my own feelings and my own writing and everything written down. It's wild. I don't know. I didn't even know it was there. She said, I came across your journal at my parents' old house and I'm going to send it to you because you need to have it. And this is priceless. First of all, I was psychotic when something was wrong with me when I was 12. I don't know what I was talking about, but I was writing a lot of poetry. Some of it quite dark. I don't know what was going on. But I put a heading on all of my pages, okay? Always, every time. I would put the date, the time, and where I did it. And a lot of them say, my room. And then some of them say, so-and-so's room, my friend, the one that found this. And that's pretty much the only two places I wrote from. I wasn't getting around a lot back then. But anyways, I think this is really amazing to have some things in writing that you can remember from your childhood. So just to give you a little snippet of who I was back then. This really speaks to my people pleasing and really solidifies the fact that it goes way back to as far as I can remember. And so this was it says that I wrote this on December 1st, 1999 at 5:57 p.m., guys. That is a precise time, okay? In my room. This is Rules for Being a Perfect Person. Lord. And I made a lot of lists. This thing is full of lists. It's full of poems, lists, and steps to do things, schedules. It's also MASH. You know the game MASH? I have a lot of that in here. It's just amazing. All right, rules for being a perfect person. Take note, okay? Number 1, clean up after yourself, okay? That's fair. But in parentheses, sometimes others too. Okay. I mean, that's nice, I guess, if sometimes. It's not too bad. Number 2, do your homework first, and there is an exclamation point. First, do it first. Why isn't it number 1 then? 3, listen to music for an hour a day. It's very specific. And parentheses, in the morning. You're not going to be a perfect person if you don't do it in the morning. It needs to be in the morning. Number 4 is starred and underlined. Okay, we have indication of a very important number here. Ignore comments that hurt your feelings. Oh, that's so sad. I was trying so hard. It was already on my list. Number 5, always compliment your friends once a day. Oh, at least once a day. Okay. Number 6, oh, here we go. Here's the mantra that ruined my life. This is not how to be a perfect person, okay? Number 6, when someone is mean to you, still be nice to them. Don't do that. That was wrong. That is not how to be a perfect person, okay? I was wrong about that. That was not good. All right. Number 7, read a Bible verse every night. Whew. Number 8, be nice to your brother, even when he's annoying. Okay. Number 9, absolutely do not waste food. It is in all capitals and it has exclamation points. Okay, that's very important apparently than all the others. Number 10, never live for someone until they live for you. That was wishful thinking. Okay. Number 11, don't call boys. I failed at that. 12, do special things for friends. Oh. Number 13, forget about appearance. Just forget about it. Don't even remember that it's a word. It doesn't mean anything. Appearance, who? Forget about it. Number 14, return calls, exclamation point. But don't call boys. Number 15, always smile. Always, all the time. At any point in time, if you are not smiling, you're not going to be following the rules of being a perfect person. So smile now, right now, always. 16, this is getting dicey. I'm not sure what I was thinking. Go out with 2 guys a year. I have no idea what that means because I wasn't going out anywhere. We were going to school and maybe the skating rink. So maybe I was going to go to the skating rink with 2 guys a year only. I mean, that's not bad. 17. Why was I concerned about this? I didn't even have boyfriends. Okay. Leave a 4-month break between each boyfriend. I must have been reading teen magazine because that makes no sense. I literally did not have a boyfriend. Did not have a boyfriend at this age. No. I had crushes. That's funny. It's going to be kind of hard to fit those 2 guys in a year. I mean, that means each relationship can really only be what, like 4 months? Yeah. I can see one for 4 months, and then I have to have a 4-month gap, and then I have to see my other guy. This is a very rigid schedule. I don't know if I can follow these rules. It's going to be difficult. 18, tell your parents goodnight. That's sweet. 19, tell your parents you love them. That's nice. I think that still stands. And 20, don't talk behind people's backs. And I stand by it. All right. So there you go. My 12-year-old self. Rules for being a perfect person.